Today I'm here to inform you about the causes and effects of a serious issue that is harming our environment and our wildlife. And if we don't change our actions now and understand what we're doing wrong, it may be too late and the Earth will be severely affected for the future. That problem is global warming. And according to scientists, global warming is mostly caused by human actions. Why are we seeing changes in the environment? Some of the changes include strong tropical storms, wildfires, heat waves, sea levels are rising, Arctic ice is melting, and temperatures are rising. Those are all effects of global warming, and they are terrible effects that we're seeing now, but the prolonged effects will be so much worse in the future. Why should we be more aware of global warming? The thing that I try to get people to understand is we are seeing changes, but the changes will be so much worse in the future for our children, the wildlife, and the earth, and potentially we won't have to deal with most of those changes. Some of the changes that will continue to occur will sea levels will continue to rise. Strong hurricanes, droughts, and natural disasters will happen. Species will become more extinct because their ecosystems are changing, and they can't adapt to them quick enough to survive. What are we exactly doing that's harming the environment? Some of the things we do are industrialization, deforestation, and pollution. Deforestation severely affects the environment because humans are putting more CO2 in the air than the trees and plants can intake. Global warming is the outcome of numerous of our everyday procedures that are destroying the environment, the wildlife, and what we call home. The stats and rising effects show that if the human population doesn't become more aware of global warming, the Earth will be forever changed. Next, I'm going to talk to you about what global warming is. Global warming is the Earth is being warmed too quick, mostly caused by human actions, and all the effects are being seen on the Earth and the wildlife. We call the result global warming, but it's causing a set of changes to the Earth's climate or long-term weather patterns. That varies from place to place. As the Earth spins each day, the new heat swirls with it, picking up moisture over the oceans, rising here, settling there. It's changing the rhythms of climate that all living things have come to rely on. What are greenhouse gases and greenhouse effect? The greenhouse effect is warming that happens when greenhouse gases are trapped in the atmosphere. Greenhouse gases are certain gases in the atmosphere that trap heat and don't let the heat escape. More gases means the more heat that is trapped. It's similar to a greenhouse. Light is let in, but heat isn't let out. Next, that's what global warming is. Next, are we seeing any signs? Humans and wildlife will see changes. Some of the changes that will be seen will glaciers will melt, which will harm the Arctic and especially polar bears. Rising sea levels, strong tropical storms, and extinction will continue to increase. The ocean's circulation system will be changed and ruined, which could cause an ice age in the future. Warming could become uncontrollable, which at that point means that it's too late and there's really not any changes that can save the Earth. Precipitation is increasing across the entire globe and will continue in the future. According to the National Geographic of Environmental Studies, glaciers are melting, sea levels are rising, cloud forests are drying, and wildlife is scrambling to keep pace. It's becoming clear that humans have caused most of the past century's warming by releasing heat-trapping gases as we power our modern lives. Called greenhouse gases, their levels are higher now than they have been in the last 650,000 years. What effects will be seen on Earth? Some of the effects that will be seen that will harm the Earth is sea levels could rise 7 to 23 inches in the next century. Less fresh water will be available. Ecosystems will change for the worst, which means extinctions will continue to happen. More diseases will spread all throughout the Earth. According to the 1996 to 2012 National Geographic Society, the planet is warming from North Pole to South Pole and everywhere in between. Globally, the mercury is already up more than 1 degree Fahrenheit and even more in sensitive polar regions. And the effects of rising temperatures aren't waiting for some far-flung future. They're happening right now. Signs are appearing all over, and some of the signs are surprising. The heat is not only melting glaciers and sea ice, It's also shifting precipitation patterns and setting animals on the moves. Those are the facts on global warming. Next, I will talk about what we can do to help. Scientists and many others that are concerned about global warming are coming up with certain ways that we can change our everyday actions that won't harm the earth so much. Some of those include CFL light bulbs. Change to those instead of regular light bulbs. That saves about 60% of energy and saves 300 pounds of CO2 a year. Turn your thermostat down 2 degrees in the winter and up 2 degrees in the summer. That saves about 2,000 pounds of CO2 in 1 year in one household. We all need to use less hot water. Try to use a clothesline instead of a dryer in about the 6 months out of the year that you can. In that 6 month time period, you can save about 700 pounds of CO2. Recycle at home. That's one of the most problems that people have. If you save about half of your household's waste a year, you can save up to 2,400 pounds of CO2. Buy fresh food instead of frozen. It takes about 10 times more energy to create frozen food instead of fresh. Tune up your cars. That means less emissions that get into the air, and you can get better fuel efficiency. According to the Global Warming Facts page of Top 50 Things to Do to Stop Global Warming is a dramatically urgent and serious problem. We don't need to wait for the government to find a solution for this problem. We know what the problem and effects are. Each individual can bring an important help adopting a more responsible lifestyle. Starting from little everyday things. It's the only reasonable way to save our planet before it's too late. My argument is that I know that everybody isn't going to change, but to the people that will change and understand what the problem is and want to save our Earth, we need to do it now and try to persuade those people that they're harming the environment. We know it's wrong, now we need to change. Like the scientists say, if strong natural disasters are going to continue to happen, a perfect example just happened a couple months ago in Hurricane Sandy. That hurricane destroyed one of the most populated areas in New York City, and those people will see effects for the rest of their lives. Hopefully we now realize why and how we need to stop global warming, and it is my goal to inform people to change their ways now, before it's too late. I know that I don't want my children and anybody in the near future to see effects that I won't be able to see, but ultimately the cause will be because of us living on the earth now.